Hello, welcome on in. It is Betting Weekly Game Bet Match, number one tennis betting podcast and YouTube show brought to you in association with Bet Rivers, your hometown sportsbook. It's the second Game Bet Match of the week, and we're looking at tomorrow's matches in the final 1,000 of the year, the Paris Masters. And to do so, looking at three matches, is our senior ATP Tour handicapper, is Sean Calvert. I've got the words out in the end there. Sean, how are you, my friend?
Yeah, I'm all right, I think, yeah. Just trying to keep my eyes on all these matches that are going on at the same time. These 1 week Masters events, they don't give you much time. It's all or nothing, isn't it? There's either nothing going on or there's about 15 matches on at the same time on different courts, and you're trying to look at everything on different screens. And then obviously I get angry about certain things that go on. And yeah, I'm all right, I think, just about. And it's half term, which is not helpful. I just remembered actually why I go to the Paris Masters. It's generally just to get out of Halloween, which I absolutely hate. Well, that trick or treating, I can't be doing with that. So I've kind of remembered why I normally go to Paris, which I don't particularly like either. I just dislike it less than doing trick or treating. So yeah, it's one of them.
So if I went trick or treating and I knocked on Leon C at the Calvert household and went trick or treat, and you went to the cupboard to get me a treat, what would it be?
I wouldn't do it. Natasha would do it because I can't be doing with it. I can't have all these people knocking on my door asking for stuff. It's not. I don't get it. We never did this when I was a kid, like ever. This wasn't a thing. I know it's 100 years ago or whatever, but you know, they're all at it. There's about 1,000 of them out there on Halloween. Just every single door, and you know, God, no, it's not me. What would I do? I'd just I'd say, Natasha, can you just give that bloke at the door a drumstick or something? That's probably what I'd do.
An actual drumstick?
No,
or a
sweet. Maybe that's a bit British. Are they a British sweet, them, or are they universal?
Yeah.
It's a lolly.
Sure
it's a sweet lolly.
It's a sticky lolly, which with a white and a sort of a red.
It's green and red wrapper in it.
Yeah. I thought you'd give them a pear or something like that, just a pear, and say like, "Listen, bugger off now. I'm watching the tennis" or something like that. But they don't come to us because you have to have a certain. Don't you have to have? I think the rules of it now, if you knock on your door, only if you've got some decorations.
I think so.
I think,
yeah, but Natasha she sort of half-heartedly puts stuff out. Like she'll put I can't remember what it is. She'll put something very small, which gives the people confidence that they might be getting some if they come to my door. But I'm not answering it. I just say, look, I don't want any part of this. I'm busy, not getting involved in this. It's not my bag.
I don't want to be the poor child who knocks on your door if one of your tennis bets gets beat and asks for trick or treat. I think they're in for a tough old arse.
I don't like people
door suddenly to coincide it with a bad time of a tennis match.
I don't like people knocking on my door full stop unless it's a delivery or something. And I wouldn't, looking at it the other way around, I wouldn't randomly go knocking on people's doors either. That's why I don't like trick or treating. I don't like to disturb people because I know they're sat there watching, you know, Coronation Street or whatever they're watching, or the tennis, and then this 50-year-old man comes knocking on the door asking for sweets. It's
Well, it'd be very different than that if you're knocking on the door for trick or treat. Me and my brothers used to go. We used to go carol singing in November just because we were a bit short of money and our mum wouldn't give us any money to go out. So my brother's about 6 years older than me. I'm the middle one and the little one. We used to take the little one. We used to go carol singing in end of November to get some money on November.
Do you not have to be a good singer though?
Good. I am a good singer.
Are you?
You've never heard me. I am a good singer.
I don't think I've heard you singing. I'm terrible. I'm the worst you could possibly imagine. My voice is horrible. I wouldn't inflict it on anybody. But I didn't know you were a decent singer.
Yeah, I'm not bad. I can hold a tune. We'll have to go out to karaoke after the Christmas party. I'll sing Sweet Caroline for you. What about that?
I've talked myself into one now, haven't I?
Let's move on to the tennis, though, about our chat on trick or treating and singing and various different things here. Big news on the outright market here in Paris is that Jannik Sinner has pulled out of the tournament, withdrawn from the tournament before playing his second round match. You did say on the podcast, if you watched the podcast on Sunday previewing the show, that Sinner, the quotes he was making out, they didn't really fancy it this week and that he was going to probably save himself for Turin, and you're absolutely spot on there. So if you have taken the bet with Jannik Sinner, we have to wait to see. I don't know if you'll get paid out. You get money back. I'm not sure.
Depends.
Sure you will, but you have to wait and see the rules.
I think different books do it differently, so yeah, I mean, I'm not sure about that, to be honest. But hopefully, after hearing the show, not many people backed Sinner. He didn't really disguise it, did he? The quotes were pretty clear. You know, I'm not sure. I'll see what I can do. I'll try. But by the way, I'm really up for Turin. I mean, it was pretty clear that he was either not. I think I suggested that if he had Shelton in the first round, he might go away with a 7-6, 7-6 and pack his bags. We didn't even get that far. So yeah, no surprise that he's out, and hopefully that will open the draw up for our man.
Yeah, and our two men were in action this morning. Good news and bad news. Artur Fils came through against Marian Cilic. Made a bit of a struggle in the first set, won in a tiebreak. Then he was very dominant in set number 2. Hurkacz, we said he was, big question mark, and it was proven to be that that's not the Humbert Hurkacz we saw from last season. He's clearly struggling with some fitness injuries there.
I don't get that. I don't understand why he's missed the last month or so of the tour with the injury. Yeah, okay, I get that bit, but I don't understand why he's come back now if he's still in the same condition that he was a month ago. It doesn't really make any sense because he's basically come back for this one match, and that's him done, isn't it? Unless he's not due to play next week, so unless he randomly takes a late wild card into one of the 2 events next week, that's basically having a month off, coming back, playing a match, losing, and then finishing your season. I don't really get that. I don't know whether you do. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
No, unless he, I don't know, he just might like the event, might like the city, fancy going there, give it a go, see, thinking he may be not as badly injured as he thought, but it clearly didn't work, and it clearly was a losing bet. But the one thing I would say, when we gave the tips on Sunday on the outright market, the odds on Fils absolutely fell through the floor. The scene, he went
was too big, wasn't it?
120 to 1, which was the wrong price, which we highlighted here, down to about 40 to 1 and 33 to 1 with Bet Rivers very, very quickly. And with the news of Sinner pulling out as well, that will obviously contract his price even more. And he's in action tomorrow against Jean-Leonard Struff. We haven't got any odds on that yet by the time of this recording. We're recording this lunchtime in the UK so that we can get this live. So we only had 3 matches, and we're going to discuss those 3 matches. On our match betting in round 1, a bit of a mixed bag. We had Gasquet, obviously, has pulled out. His opponent pulled out in was it Caboli?
Yeah, so lucky that. I think that was the right play. Obviously, Caboli, I said he was injured last week. He was obviously injured. I suspected he wouldn't put up much of an effort this week, but again, like Sinner, he hasn't put any in at all. So kind of frustrating that, because I feel like Gasquet could have won that match in the condition that Caboli was in, but he probably did the right thing in withdrawing.
Yeah, we got Popper in as well. He's looking good at the moment. He's won the first set and he's leading on the tiebreak in the second set. And Lehecka obviously up against Jack Draper later on. So we'll update the outright markets. We'll update the our figures for the season when those matches complete. And obviously make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, Betting Weekly Studios, for all the best soccer and tennis content. Let's move on to the bets. We have 3 matches tomorrow. It's round number 2 already. And the first match we are going to discuss is Alexander Zverev, a man who's been struggling for a bit of form. He obviously got some injury concerns in the last few months, the last month of the season or so. Played a lot of tennis this year. He's got to go to Turin as well, or he probably want to save himself for that. He's up against Tallon Griekspoor, who came through against Darderi in a rather impressive performance, I thought, from Tallon Griekspoor. He won very, very easily in 2 sets to love. He has an overwhelming head-to-head to overcome here, as Zverev leads 5-1 in the head-to-heads. The last time Griekspoor won was in Rotterdam, in his country, in the Netherlands, in 2023. But I quite like the Dutchman. I want to get with him in some kind of capacity. Zverev is minus 455. Griekspoor is plus 340. The spread is 3.5, and the total here is 22.5. First set overs look more than capable here. We have said about the court speeds on the main court and on the outside courts. We have to wait to see the order of play on this one. I'm not quite sure where it will be. But Griekspoor, I'd give him a chance here at plus 340 against Zverev, who's got Turin, got big money, got big hopes there, done well in that end of the year tournament before. What do you think about Griekspoor on the money line, plus 340? I think that's a nice price. I
think you've read my mind there, actually. Yeah, I think that's a very good bet. Just before we go into this, I've crunched some numbers. I talked about the difference in court speeds. I'll just go through the first serve points won on each court. This is only one day, so it's perhaps not, it's kind of a small sample size, but it's same as it ever was, really. Centre court yesterday, 74% first serve points won. Court 1, 77% first serve points won, and court 2, 80% first serve points won. I know there's a differential between the type of players that were playing and all the rest of it, but it is the same. Centre court is pretty slow, and the lower dungeon courts are quicker. So yeah, that's the same. So the schedule that you just said, the schedule is important. Not so much, I don't think, for this Zverev match, but maybe one or two of the others that I'm talking about, and other ones that you might be thinking about having a bet on. It's you got to look at the schedule. So as far as this is concerned, Griekspoor should have won 2 of their 3 matches this season. Choked away a big lead at the French Open. Could have won in straight sets in Shanghai against what was a very tired Zverev. I've said many times, I'm not sure why he's carrying on playing if he's had pneumonia. I mean, just take a break. You've played 80 matches this season. Have a break, come back fresh. But he doesn't seem to want to do that for whatever reason. And Griekspoor's playing great. This indoor swing so far, service points won and return points won, total 106, 90% holds of serve. That bet that I suggested yesterday, by the way, that was a little bit unlucky, the lean I suggested on Darderi. There was only 1 break point in that opening set. Darderi won 84% of his first serve points. Griekspoor something like 97%. That was unlucky if he took that bet, because there's only 1 break point in it, massively serve dominated. 106 total, 90% holds of serve. This is before the match yesterday. That's not included in these stats. But importantly for Griekspoor, he's winning 36% of return points, which is much better. Much better than it ever was before. I've mentioned on this show a few times his return game isn't that great. He's been down at sort of 31, 32% return points won. Just at this exact moment in time, he's winning 36%. That'll be boosted as well by the couple of breaks that he got against Darderi. So he's on an upward path as far as the return game is concerned. We know he's a tough opponent for Zverev. Zverev knows it as well. Zverev said after that Shanghai meeting that Griekspoor should be in the top 10 or top 15, was his quote. He said if he plays like that every week, if he plays every week like he plays against me, he should be top 10, top 15. And, maybe he's got a point there. And the other factor is the fact that it's on indoor hard, which for me is where Griekspoor is at his best. He's also pretty effective on grass, but indoor hard for me, Griekspoor, very effective. Beat Zverev, in fact, in Rotterdam a year or 2 ago. I know it's Griekspoor's home tournament, but maybe he's slightly more motivated there. But his indoor stats are very, very good. The head-to-head does favour Zverev, as you said, but I mean, it's good for him. It's 103.5 to 96.5 in terms of service points won and return points won. But you feel like a lot of these points, he's choked away a lot of chances. There's not much in it. If you look further into that head-to-head, first serve points won is exactly the same, 73.5%. This is in their last, I think it's 4 meetings. The only one I've discounted was the one on grass, which was years ago. I think it's the last 5 actually. So 73.5% first serve points won, exactly the same. Service holds, Zverev 87%, Griekspoor 86%. So on serve, there's nothing between them at all. Zverev historically has won slightly more return points, 3.5% more return points. But as I said, Griekspoor is now improving for me on return. Indoors suits him. Zverev's tired and doesn't enjoy the conditions here anyway. He was moaning last season when he played Fucsovic on the main court, the centre court. He was saying how the court is the lowest bouncing court he's ever played on. I'm not sure I see it like that, to be honest. I've looked at this many times. It doesn't look to me, I don't know what you feel, but it doesn't look that low bouncing to me. But Zverev is either making an excuse or he genuinely feels like the ball's not getting up, and because he's such a tall guy, he finds that difficult. So, this is a chance for Griekspoor to finally get a win over Zverev that he should have had at Roland Garros. He could easily have had in Shanghai. He certainly threw the one away at Roland Garros when he was a double break up in the final set. So, the form he's in, Griekspoor, the conditions, the fact that Zverev, what is his motivation this week? Doesn't really like this tournament. He's moaning about the court. So, plus 340 Griekspoor. Let's take a chance on that.
Yeah, like that play. I want to get with Griekspoor in many markets as well. If you want to play a little bit more conservative, you can take him on the spread. You can bet him to win the first set. There's 28 different markets available. But Bet Rivers on this match. And let me look at the market move at the moment. I think there's already a move is developing on Griekspoor. Yes, there is. There's a market move developing on Griekspoor. And the line is moving very, very quickly. And the price with Bet Rivers currently, that plus 340, is the best price in the world. So that move quick, that match. We don't know the order play yet, but it'll be starting. I'm guessing around about 5 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow morning, nice and early.
It'll be on the main court as well, won't it?
Yeah. So Griekspoor plus 340 is a bet, and it is moving fast. Let's move on to our second match we're going to discuss today. Grigor
Popyrin's won as well. Sorry to butt in there.
Yep, Popyrin has just won. There you go, 7-6. So that means that we've got a nice, was he plus 1?
He was about 2.6-ish, wasn't he? Something like that.
Yeah, about
plus
plus
160.
So a nice plus 160 winner, which means on the bets from the first show, we're in profit. We can't lose. We've only got one. One's retired, which is void. 1 plus 160 winner. And we have a free hit on Lehecka against Draper. So let's hopefully we can get that in, but we guarantee profit whatever happens. Let's move on to our second match. Grigor Dimitrov against Tomas Martin Etcheverry. Grigor Dimitrov has an excellent record here in Paris. Out of all the players in the draw, he has huge motivation. He's currently 10th on the race for Turin. Andrei Rublev is in 8th, struggling. Casper Ruud has a tough match this evening as well against Jordan Thompson as well. So Grigor Dimitrov cannot afford any slip-ups, and it's been reflected on the odds, what I'm seeing here. They've never met before, but Dimitrov here is minus 360. The Argentinian Etcheverry is plus 275, spread 3.5 and total 22.5. Very similar odds to the Tallon Griekspoor match. If you look at Etcheverry, he just had a good win against Yang. He got beat by Shelton in the first round at Basel. But prior to that, he had a shock defeat in Antwerp against Roberto Bautista Agut. Etcheverry, again, is seeing some money as a dog here. And I think the price on Dimitrov is purely and simply because of this Paris record that he has. And also the fact that everyone thinks that he's going to be up for the challenge with those points at stake to force his way into the reckoning for the top 8 in Turin. But minus 360 does appear to be very, very short for me.
It doesn't always work out like that, does it? I've said this before. I'm never that sold on this algorithm, if you like, that players are desperately trying to get into the tour finals. It didn't work with Tommy Paul yesterday, did it? No. Lost in straight sets to Mannarino. Yeah, Mannarino played well, but I mean, you would expect, Tommy, a supposedly motivated Tommy Paul to win that match, but not the case. So, yeah, I mean, in theory, Dimitrov, you would think he would be motivated for the tour finals purely on the basis that he hasn't played there for quite a long time, and this, it might be his last chance. What's he, 33? A lot of injury problems. I would expect he might be motivated to do that. He also likes the conditions here. Made the final in Paris here in Bercy last year. He's won 13 of his last 17 matches here. He's also, I've checked what he's done against this kind of opponent. He's not played Etcheverry before, but opponents of similar ranking. Dimitrov's won 12 of his last 13 matches against opponents ranked between 30 and 50 in the world at the time of the match. So doesn't often lose. The one he lost, incidentally, was when we backed him outright in Cincinnati. Lost to Marijan in the first round. So yeah, that was me jinxing him, I think, there. And out of those 13 matches, only 2 of those 13 matches have gone over 10 games in set 1. I think this one might well do, as it happens. But the point is, he's held up very, very well against players in the top sort of 30, 40, 50. He's also never lost his opening match in Bercy, incidentally. Grigor Dimitrov, he's 11-0 win-loss in his opening match at this tournament. I also took a look at his stats in his career at main level in this tournament. Service points won and return points won, total of 105. 78% first serve points won. We know his game is effective here. Zverev mentioned about the low bounce. It takes a slice quite nicely this court, or it certainly has done in previous years. So that goes some way to explain why his stats are so good at this tournament. Dimitrov and won 13 of his last 17. Etcheverry, looking at it from his point of view, against top 10 opponents so far in his career, he's 0-11. So not particularly promising as far as that's concerned. But that said, 5 of the last 6 times he's played a top 10 opponent, the opening set's gone over 10.5 games, and all 3 of his last 3 on hard courts. So he's been causing problems for the top guys, but he's not been getting over the line in sets, or certainly not in matches, and generally not in sets either. He's been losing them 7-6, 7-5 in the opening set. Played well down on the lower dungeon court against Zhang yesterday. Hit 14 aces in 2 sets. Won 78% of his first serve points against Zhang. This is one where I feel like the scheduling could be could be key. I mean, I'm not sure where this match is going to be played. I'm not totally convinced that this is going to be on centre court. It might be, but if it's on one of the outside courts, the lower courts, then I would be tempted with set one overs here because it's plus 205. You'll bet Rivers over 10.5 games in set one. There's a strong trend for Etcheverry doing that against top 10 opponents, even on hard courts.
Yeah, 28 different markets available, and one of them is on the set one overs. I'm guessing this is not going to be an official play, but if it was on the outside court, it probably would be an official play, yeah?
I probably would take a chance on it being on, if it was on one of the outside courts. I can't really second guess the schedulers. I'm not sure whether it'll be on there or not, because there's a lot of top guys playing tomorrow. It may be that he's squeezed out. I don't know.
Yeah, so make sure you watch look out for the order of play on the BetRivers website. Go to the ATP Tour website as well. See the scheduling, and if this match is on one of the outside courts, not the court central, then it's probably a bet on over 10.5 in set number one. Our final match features a Frenchman, Hugo Humbert, who's got all the talent in the world, but so erratic.
He's not your mate, is he?
Marcus Giron. I tell you what, I'm going to come on to it in a minute, but we'll come on to this in a bit. Marcus Giron is plus 220 to win this match. Spread is 3.5, 22.5. Very similar prices in all three of these matches. They spreads all the same, totals all the same here. But if Giron is to win, he's going to overcome a very convincing head-to-head record in favour of Humbert. Humbert leads 3-0 in the head-to-head records, and the last time they met was here in Paris at this venue in 2023, where Humbert won 6-4, 6-3. Now, I watched Humbert last round against Nakashima, and he was going through the motions. He wasn't playing well. Then at 4-3 in the final set, I don't know if you watched the match.
I didn't.
He went bananas. He got the crowd behind him. He was pumping. He was going. Never seen Humbert.
He's got a bit weird lately. He was odd in Basel.
He was so pumped. Sean. It was incredible. And he used the crowd to get him over the line. But it was so unlike him. He's usually quite laid back guy. He's got a big serve. Doesn't really get too worked up. But he was using the crowd. Whether he's used up all his emotions and all his fire in that match again, but he was in a bit of a bad place, and he come through 6-4, and Nakashima just couldn't cope with it. But we got Giron here. Giron has no cloud, no fall here, and plus 220 here is maybe a big price for the American as well. But Humbert minus 286. No, thank you. But I'm interested what you have to say.
Yeah, I mean the odds in this one are. I think it's all about the head-to-head. He shouldn't be this short, really, Humbert. I don't think. If I was setting a line for this, I wouldn't have him that short. The head-to-head, as you said, is 3-0, all on indoor hard. One of them here last year. And the service points won and return points won is totals across those three matches is quite overwhelming in Humbert's favour. 116 to 84, which is about as big as it gets in a head-to-head career series. Humbert holding serve 94% of the time, winning 84% of his first serve points. So he's been completely untouchable on serve. He's even winning 62% on his second ball. So Giron's not particularly had not had a great time at all on return against Humbert. But I think the stats are a little bit flattering because the first time they met, it was in the COVID year on an indoor hard court tournament in New York, which doesn't exist anymore. I think they moved they moved it to Dallas, didn't they? I think that's that license. Because it was played in February indoors, and I think it was on Long Island, wasn't it, for a couple of years. 6-1-6.
You've got such a better memory than me, Sean.
I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
I just nodded my head when you. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I could be talking complete nonsense, but
I don't even know what happened yesterday. I can't remember the bets we had yesterday.
You remembered about Agassi 1999, didn't you?
Yeah, I know. I've got to get that 50 quid for you and bank details after the show.
I'll give it you at the Christmas party or something. Cash. 6-1-6 love. So that makes those stats that I just talked about, the 116 to 84, that makes them. That's a reason why they're as wide as they are. Because despite that, Giron had a match point in their Basel clash a year ago. I think they met in consecutive weeks, didn't they, last year? Yeah, they did. So Basel, then Bercy, but he had a match point. In that Basel one, did Giron. So I think this 116 to 84 is overwhelming. It's a little bit misleading because if you look at the form that Giron's been in lately, it's excellent. If you compare the last 10 main level matches of these two, both got a 70% win rate. Humbert, as you would expect, he got to the final in Tokyo, didn't he? Should have won that. Service points won over 10 points, won total of 106, 91% holds of serve. Giron, 104 total. Service points won over 10 points, won total, and 87% holds of serve. Both guys winning 77% of their first serve points. So this is a player in Giron at the minute who's in great form. And I'm not convinced about Humbert. We had him in Basel last week. He was in a really weird mood in the first round. Then he managed to lose to Goffin from, I think, 3 match points up. He's complaining about fatigue. And his record here in Bercy isn't that great. 5-4 win-loss in the main draw. Service points won and return points, won total of 100. And I think some of that is because he plays most of his, if not all of his matches on centre court. And it's too slow for him there. For me, it's not quick conditions. He likes it quick, does Humbert. I just don't think these are the great conditions for him. Humbert's obviously going to be motivated, as you said, whipping the crowd up, trying to, as did Fils earlier, trying to get them involved and all the rest of it. But from Giron's point of view, he should be thinking about, this guy got me 3 times. I should have got him in Basel. Didn't manage to get over the line that time. This time I'm gonna make sure I do. So, I mean, Humbert doesn't play many quick matches, does he? I mean, that even that one yesterday against Nakashima, he's very rare he gets anything done in straight sets. So I quite like the Marcos Giron player games here, over 11.5 player games, which is -120 with Bet Rivers. I think some way of getting with Giron or siding with a longer match than the layers think. I think over 22.5 is, what's that, -118? Roughly the same price. So it's kind of the same bet. So some way of siding with Giron, maybe not to win the match, but to go close against Humbert. I think that's too short on Humbert.
Yeah, loads of different props available. Bet Rivers, as I said many times in this show, you will not find a better array of tennis betting markets than you will on the Bet Rivers website or the app. Remember, if you do download the app and have a bet on the app, you'll be able to watch this. So you'll bet live and watch live with Bet Rivers, live stream the match as well. So make sure you head across to the website. Lots of different markets, lots more to come as well. Unfortunately, at the time of recording, it's only 3 matches that there's odds available. There are 2 more we know. We do know Fils against Struff, and we also know Rinderknecht against Mickelson. But as the day goes on, more matches will feature on the Bet Rivers website. As I said earlier, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Betting Weekly Studios. A huge amount of new subscribers. Thank you very much. If you're new, thank you very much for joining us. And hopefully we'll stick with us for the soccer as well as the tennis. The tennis has obviously only got a couple of weeks left of the season. And if you are following us on our all our channels, these are our results. Game bet match so far is -2.01 units for the year. We've obviously got a match winner there with Popperin, and we've obviously got a Hercash loss as well, which will take that down a little bit, the loss up a little bit to probably up -1 unit. WTA is -291. Rory's got some picks still in play over in the WTA Tour, and WTA actually will be covered on Bet Rivers as well. You'll be able to live stream those matches as well. The English Premier League is +2.31, and Extra Time, our show with Steve Wiss, and we have Steve Wiss and James Eastham. That is doing really well, +13.89 units. So pretty much doing very well on all our shows there, as you can see. As I said, download the podcast here, Betting Weekly Game Bet Match on your preferred podcast provider, and also follow us on our socials at Because We Win on Instagram and on Twitter. Sean, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Don't go trick or treating, because I don't think they're not going to expect you
Not doing that.
when they open the door.
Definitely.
And if anyone is in the Leon Sea area and they're sending their kids out, do not. If there's a house with the windows drawn,
They can.
You can hear someone
Natasha will
going
do
mad
it.
and tennis being played.
Natasha will do it. It'll be fine. Just
be.
You won't be seeing me.
She might be out. She might be out. So just be very careful. Be careful.
I've already said I'm
sure
not doing it. I've told her I'm not doing trick or treating. You're doing it, so she knows what she's doing.
Just stay safe, kids, out there around the Leon Sea area doing your trick or treating, because you will not get a very nice treat, unless of course Artur Fils wins, and then
in that case you can have whatever. Yeah, that's fine.
You can have whatever you want. That's it for this for today. We're back tomorrow with our final game bet match of the week. Good luck with your bets. Head across to Bet Rivers. Loads more tennis action will be put up there as the day goes on. But that's it from us now. Sorry, Sean, I didn't ask you any official bets. Have we got we mentioned the bets?
Yeah.
Got one, any official?
Yeah, with the Griekspoor, I think is the value of the day as far as I'm concerned. +340 on him to beat Zverev.
Yeah, plus 340 Griekspoor. Make sure you get that price quickly because it is the best price in the land and I don't think it will last long. That's it for the day. Take care. Speak to you all again tomorrow.